Hey guys, well, I'm back at it today. Looks like I'm going to do another heater core flush on my Expedition. I did a couple about 3 or 4 months ago, but it's gotten to a point where it's gotten warm again, and it was pretty warm for about a month. We had a really warm winter, and I didn't need much heat. And of course, as we've gotten closer to spring now, you know, we're only a week or so away from spring. It's gotten really cold again, and it's going to be cold for the next 7 days, and actually we might get a snowstorm, so I'm getting really annoyed now. I really think I should go ahead and do another flush before it gets cold, so I can have some pretty decent heat. Two things I can tell you on this Expedition, and probably the Ford Explorers, they have little release tabs right here. You have to kind of get your hands up under here. Let me see if I can get the camera down where you can see those hoses. It may be a little difficult. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Well, maybe you can see it. There we go. They're right there. If you get your hands back up under there, I'm going to try to do this freehand without shaking the camera too much. You can get your hands on those clips and push in on them and pull these hoses off. And the really important thing is when you pull these hoses off, you have these seals that go on there. There's a rubber one, a hard one, and another rubber one. They go on just like that, back on the heater core tubes, sticking out there, and the same way with the other side. What I usually do is spray a little oil on these, and spray a little bit of oil, WD-40 or whatever, inside of this here. That way when you slide this back on with those clips, they usually go on a little bit easier. Now you may have to mess with them when you pull them off and push them back on, because you really got to push in on those clips to get them pushed down really tight, so they'll pull off that heater core that's back in there. So that's one thing. And the other thing here is I've got a couple of tubes, hoses. I just went to the big hardware store that everybody knows. There's a couple of them, and I'm not going to tell you which one because they don't pay me to advertise for them, so I'm not. 3/4 inch. These are about, I got about a 12-foot one. I cut it in half, and I got a couple just cheap clamps here. I just kind of snugged them. They're not real tight, just enough to keep these hoses on the heater core. And the reason you want to do that is when you put a little bit of water pressure on these, you don't want them to blow off. So I'm going to go ahead and stick these on, and I've got a bucket set up here. I'm going to try to I'm not going to be able to do this with the camera in one hand and these hoses in the other. So these slide on pretty easy. Just get your hand up in there and kind of push them on, and you can feel when they go on. And the other reason is you want to get these off of there. These will give you a little more room to push those hoses up on that heater core, the tube and everything, to make it go in there a lot further. It just helps out from the hoses sliding back off, because you really don't have any room here to tighten those up. I would have liked to use two clips like that, but I only had the one, and this one here will work just fine. Like I said, it's just kind of snug. It's just kind of sitting there, and when you push this tube on there, it will expand a little bit, and it should stay on there. So let me set the camera down. I'll go ahead and slide these on. Okay, I got those pushed on. I had a couple comments from my other video. They were amazed that I got my hand up under there and got those clips, but it's not as bad as you think. There is room to get your hands up under there and get those clips. And just remember which hose goes there, which hose goes on which side, I should say. Push them off to the side, and the other one is right here. And here's a look at the inside of it there. So these are hooked up, and really all I have to do at this point is go turn my water hose on, and I'm just going to use a standard water hose with a nipple. I'm going to shove in here. Let me grab that real quick. Okay, now here's what I used in my previous two videos when I flushed out some heater cores. This piece here, but I ended up melting it because it was so hot. And the water that was coming out, I left it in a Taurus, and it kind of melted it. So I'm not going to be able to use this. You can see it's just a standard on-off, shut-off valve, 5/8, I believe. Yeah, 5/8. So all I'm going to do is just kind of screw this nipple onto my garden hose and go turn the garden hose on kind of low, and come up here and just kind of shove this in this like this with my hand, and I will be able to kind of go back and forth flushing that heater core out. So not very technical, I know, pretty generic. And I think the two hoses well, the one big hose, 12-foot hose, this, and this piece was only about $14. Wasn't very much at all. So I didn't want to go 20 miles a day just to pick up one of these, so I'm going to just do it like this. And one other quick note is my antifreeze is pretty diluted in this vehicle, so I'm not worried about poisoning the grass or animals or anything. I left it kind of diluted because I knew eventually the heater core I'd probably have to flush it out again, and you can see down in there it's pretty diluted. So I'll go ahead and set the camera up here, and we'll go ahead and flush this out, and we'll see what comes out. Now I will tell you, when I came up to light, I stopped. It would get kind of cold. I'd go to take off. Then it would get warm again, but it never really got hot. It started this about a week ago, so I just figured I'd do another video for people that are having a little bit of problems, you know, with their heater core, and hopefully this will help you out. And like I said, not real technical here, just a basic setup to get in there and flush this heater core out. So let's get to it. See what we get. All right, so here we go. I got the water coming out of my hose, fairly decent, and I'm going to set the camera up right here in the bucket, and we'll see what comes out. Took me a few seconds there to get that hose on. I can't get here. That would probably help. I don't see too much coming out. Of course, we'll go back and forth with it. Alright. It's kind of cold out here today, so these hoses, they don't flex too well. Alright, we'll switch it around here real quick. Alright, let's see if we get anything here. Nothing really too exciting, but we'll stop it here in a minute and look inside the bucket. Doesn't take much to plug up a heater core. Alright, do the other side. Alright, now we've got a little bit in there. Well, at least I know the flow's really good, so that's a good thing. Alright, we'll check it out here and see what we got. Yeah, we got a little bit in there, a little bit of rust, looks like. And don't worry, the water's diluted. It's not going to hurt anything. And you can see, yeah, got a little bit of stuff in there yet still. And I'm not sure where it's coming from. This thing does have a back heater core. Let me show you that real quick. I am also going to flush it. A lot of people don't know that these Expeditions and some of the fancy mountain Explorers and Mountaineers, if I can get it open, there we go, has a second heater core, which is back here on the left side, and you can see it right up in there. And there's a couple of hoses right there I can pop off. I just got to pop this panel off and I can get those hoses there. I might blow it out. I got a feeling that some of the rust stuff is probably trapped in the back heater core, and it could be giving me some problems too. But let's go back around front and we'll flush this out again, see if we get any more rust. Alright, we'll go ahead and do this again. And I shortened this up a little bit because I had to cut the kink off of it there. So we'll leave that hanging there and we'll watch it. There we go. Oops. Alright. Hi, how are you? Alright guys, that's about 4 flushes back and forth, and we got a little bit of material stuff here. You know, if you can see it there, that looks like just some more rust. But at least I got a lot of it out this time, so it should be okay for a while. So now all I got to do is go ahead and put the hoses back on it. Disconnect these guys here and go ahead and put the seals and put those hoses back on it and drive it and see how it's going to do. I may go ahead and pop that back panel off real quick and flush that heater core out and see what happens. So let me wrap this up here for now. Oh, and by the way, I am letting it warm up a little bit. One other quick note is when you are messing around here, this here is itchy fiberglass. They had to put it right there in the way. If you're going to be working around this area, be aware you're going to get some fiberglass in your hand and it's going to be itchy. I tried to wear gloves, but I like to feel back there. I like to feel where those seals are, because if you wear a pair of gloves, you're not going to feel if one of them falls out or anything. So that's the way it goes. But just so you know, so now we'll go ahead and pick it up for a ride, and we'll see how the heat is and see how it feels. It's about 35 degrees out here, so it's about 20 degrees below normal. It's a good looking Expedition. I love it. Just once I get this heater situation straightened out, I may actually put a brand new heater core in it later this spring, just for the heck of it. But it's nice looking, man. I tell you what, this thing will go through snow. It's got a 4.6 in it, and it's only got 140,000 miles on it. And I get about 20 miles a gallon gasoline. It's not bad at all. Alright, enough talking. Let's head out, take out the highway here and see what we got. Alright guys, I got some pretty hot heat right now. It's really working good. Temperature gauge is back up where it should be. And that really helped. It's amazing what little bit of stuff you can get in your heater core that'll mess up the heat. I need to get a digital thermometer in the future. But now the real test will be when I come to a stop. I want to see if it continues to blow the heat out like it should. But yeah, it's really hot now. So let me go up here and stop, and excuse all my equipment that I have on my windshield. I'm a storm chaser, so I don't like taking it in and out of the car. It's too much of a hassle. But let's see. Yeah, very hot. So that's on max right now. So let me stop up here and we'll see how this goes, if it gets warm or stays cold. Alright guys, after sitting about 5 minutes, my heat is still really hot. I'm really surprised how that little bit of flushing really helped that heater core out. It's really hot, and you can see the gauge is right in the middle where it should be. And I got everything on high just like it should be. So I'm really surprised. Now I do want to show you one thing in the back real quick. My 2 heater hoses right here that go to this heater core, which is right in there. I can put my hand on them and they are hot. They're nice and warm. So I know that this heater core there probably is going to have to be flushed too. So I may just go ahead and flush this real quick and add it to the video and see if we can get some heat working here. There's a little bit, there's not much coming out, just a lukewarm, but the real key here is I know the back of it is getting hot antifreeze into these tubes, into that heater core there. So let's head back to the house now and see what we can do maybe for this. And like I said, I'm just doing this for you guys that have Expeditions and Ford Explorers, because I know you probably don't have the time or money or know how to take out a heater core. But if you can flush it out to get you by, it's probably going to save you a lot of time and money. So let's head back to the house and we'll see if we can get this panel off. Hey guys, here's a interesting look at the heating and cooling system in the back here if you have the Expedition like I have. And you can see there's the blower motor, there's a relay, there's the relay for the fan speed 1, 2, 3. If you don't have, if you only have high and don't have 1, 2, and 3, it's usually this guy here. Here's another relay. This guy here controls the heat. Now I verified this does work. I pulled it off and I can turn the knob on the heating and cooling system, and it does, the flapper does work, and I went up front and turned it back and forth, the hot and cold, and I can hear the motor running. And this one up there just basically turns it to the floor or turns it to the overhead vents there. Now, I had it running, and here are my heater hose tubes. This one going in is really hot. This one here is cold. And luckily for me, these are just disconnect quick clips, and I'm going to pull these off and go ahead and flush this heater core out of here. And if this works out, I'll actually have my heat back here now. This panel here is kind of a PIA. You got to kind of loosen up a couple of bolts on the seat belts. One's a star, then you got to, let me go around front here. And you got to loosen the bracket there for the seat belt. That is a 15 millimeter. And once you get a couple things here, you can kind of pull this piece of plastic back out of the way, and that will allow you access into this. And the star that I used on the seat belts there were T50s, so pretty easy to get to. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and hook up my two hoses here and hook up my bucket and see how this works. The way this system works, you got the air conditioning right here. This is what these tubes are for. It's got an air conditioning system back here, and then you have the heater core over here. This has a heater system. So this vehicle new was $40,000. So they have a lot of doodads in here. That's why it got so expensive. And I know my air conditioner works. So alright, I don't want to bore you too much longer. Let's go ahead and hook these hoses up, and hopefully if you have the heating system in the back like I do and you're not getting any heat, this might help you out. Alright, I got my hoses on there. Now just be aware you're going to lose a little antifreeze, and kind of got my hoses up there, and I got a rag down here, and your vehicle may smell like antifreeze for a little bit, but that's all hooked up, and already I can see rust coming out of there. So let me go turn the water on and we'll flush this out. It'll be interesting to see what we get here. I'll set the camera up here where you can kind of watch real quick. Alright, I got the water here hooked up. Let's hook this up and see what we get out of this back heater core. Here we go. Oh, it's plugged up, so I'm going to have to redo that hose. Let's do it again. It's really plugged up. Having a hard time getting it, keeping a hose on it. There it goes. It's plugged up, so let me flip it around. Maybe it'll make it a little bit easier. There we go. Wow, there we go. Wow, no wonder I didn't have any heat. Yes. This will make me happy. Wow. You can see it there going. Wow, there was a lot of dirt and rust in there. And like I said, guys, this is diluted antifreeze. It's not going to hurt any animals or anything. Cool. Alright, we'll do this a couple times and see what's in the bottom of the bucket here in a minute. Alright, let's go over here and see what we got. Let's delete this. I mean, not delete it, empty it out. There's a lot of dirt that came out of there and rust. Yep, this is why I didn't have any heat in the back. Look at the dirt and rust. Wow. There was a lot in there. Awesome. So we'll do this another, pull it out a little bit more. And that's the same stuff that was in the front heater core, so this should get my back heater working. This will be great. So let me flush this out a little bit more. Empty out the bucket first. Clean it out real quick. And please, no comments about cats and dogs getting poisoned, because like I said, this is diluted with water so much. You can't even smell the antifreeze in it. Hardly at all. Alright, we'll set the camera up here and do this one more time. And boy, it's starting to look a lot better. I didn't see much come out that time. Set the bucket there just right. We'll let that run a few seconds. I think this is really going to help me out in the back. So if you don't have any heat in the back, you may have to do the same thing. switch hoses again. Alright, we'll just let this run a couple minutes here and we'll end up looking at it and see what we got here in the end as we're just about done. Alright, so there's the final flush. This is about all I can get. Actually, this is about 3 or 4 flushes, and looks like it's about it. So I can't get any more out of it. We'll go ahead and hook the hoses back up and stuff, and we'll see what we got. You know what? Let's just do it one more time just to verify it. Alright, one last time. And you can see the water's nice and clean, and I don't see anything in there now, which is great. Maybe just a few little specks, but I'm not going to be worried about that. But the flow through this hose is really good. So I know the flow through the heater core should be efficient enough to give me good heat. Alright, we'll empty this bucket out here in a second. We'll wrap this up. Alright, our last bucket looks pretty clean. My feet are getting a little wet. Yeah, hardly anything in it this time. So, a couple little specks, but it's better than it was. So I think this should take care of it. So now what I'll do is go ahead and hook everything up, and we'll just start it up. But there's one more look at the heater core hoses, how I got them hooked up. And like I said, these are 5/8. I might have said 3/4 earlier, but these are actually 5/8 that I used on the front and the rear. So let me go ahead and clean up, and we'll put everything back together and see if our heat works. Alright guys, just in the nick of time, everything's done. Let's go over here, and since I've flushed it out, my heater is working. It's working pretty good now. Let me get up in here, and here's the vent that it blows out right here. And it's warm, nice and almost hot, but not terribly hot. But those hoses are a long ways. They have to travel a long way back to the back of the vehicle. But I think this may help my heating system of my vehicle all the way around, since both heater cores have been flushed. And it's warm now, so that is great. And it's blowing out on my panels too. I checked those a few minutes ago. Of course, I have to go up there and turn it. But yeah. Seems to be doing okay now, so that's good. I'm glad I got heat back here, and I can tell a big difference now. So there you go, one last look at it. So hopefully this will help you guys out if you have a heater problem in your vehicle. Hopefully it'll help you out a little bit. So there you go. I don't know if anybody else has even worked on the back heater cores of these. I have never seen any videos on YouTube, but now at least there's one on here, and you know what to do and how to get into it anyway. So. Alright, well thanks for watching everybody. Until my next project, good luck, and stay warm. Hopefully I'll see you when the temperature is a lot warmer out here. Later.